Greetings. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a little bit since I've been on YouTube, but I thought I'd come on here and give a brief kind of update overview of what I've been doing, what I plan to do, and share a couple of things with you if you're interested. Now, you might not be interested, and I get it, no problem. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is I just got back, well, a little while ago, but I just got back from Santa Fe. I'm up there doing a PhD program at Southwestern College in the Visionary Practices and Regenerative Leadership PhD doctoral program. And I went to my first residency, is what it was. It was a week, and I was impressed. I learned a lot about what I'm trying to do and who I'm trying to communicate to, and it was enlightening, and I enjoyed it. I met a lot of good people. Basically got a mentor set up and went through the program quite extensively. We had some practices that were interesting, and so I've been preparing for these. I've got 2 classes every 10 weeks, which is a massive amount of work. I'm a full-time student, so it is getting me back into the groove of reading a lot, writing a lot, and consuming a lot of information about these ideas and classes that they have laid out for the program, which I love. They're diverse, it's interesting, and I burned through 2 books in the last week. One is called Cosmogenesis by Brian Swim. He's done a couple of PBS specials as well too on cosmology, and very interesting. And after reading that book and going through the syllabus, and then the second class is called this class is called Embodied Cosmology, and the second class is Phenomenology Practices and the Call to Serve. I believe that's the name of it. And that has some articles, some poetry, some different things to read. But the Embodied Cosmology has the 2 books, the Brian Schwinn book and the Kimmerer book, the Braiding Sweetgrass. I've skimmed that book before. I had it years ago, and I was familiar with it, but it was nice and interesting to go back through it and look at it from the perspective of what this is about, this Embodied Cosmology class. But it's a lot of reading, and I have 2 classes a week, 6 hours a week in class, and then about probably 30 hours outside of class, somewhere in there. So it's a lot of work. It's fun. It's interesting. And I hope when I'm finished with this, it'll be interesting, productive. And I hesitate there because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I've got 3 years in this program full time. At first year and a half, we'll be doing these classes and courses and how to write a dissertation, all those kinds of basic things, and then a lot of the ideas behind what that visionary practices and regenerative leadership means, and how they call it a vision seed. It's basically the dissertation. The vision seed's different. The vision seed is what your theories or your ideas about what you want to do. And the dissertation, they call an offering. I love their school. It's a very different kind of way of looking at things. It's a different language. Very interesting. But having said that, I wanted to read just a couple, 3 paragraphs here that I wrote about my offering or my dissertation, what I hope to do. And this is subject to change, but give you a little bit of an idea of where my head is at and what I plan to try to make sense of in the next 3 years. So the offering, my dissertation asks a simple but unsettling question. How do we live and create when we know we're going to die? I'm working with Ernest Becker's ideas on death anxiety and terror management theory, but I'm also testing them through my own practice as an artist. This is the real key. And if you watch me go through this, and I'll probably come back on here occasionally. I don't know. I might make it kind of a part of my thing. I haven't decided yet, but if you follow me and I progress through this, you'll see exactly what that means, how I'm testing them through my own practice as an artist and what that means. That means using 19th century photographic processes, especially the wet collodion process, alongside painting or some painting. I'm drawn to collodion because it refuses permanence. Contrary to popular belief, this is what my proposition is this. I'm drawn to collodion because it refuses permanence. The plates are fragile, prone to peeling, cracking, breaking, and fading. They carry their own mortality inside them. In that way, each photograph becomes an echo of our condition, temporary, beautiful, and marked by disappearance. Painting lets me work differently, more viscerally, but with the same question: what does it mean to make something when we know it won't last? Those ideas are important, and kind of circling around these mortality questions as a creative person, as an artist. My hope is that by bringing these practices into the conversation about death anxiety, I can show how art doesn't just buffer us from death. It can also hold mortality in view, honestly and even tenderly. For me, that's where meaning is made, in confronting impermanence and finding something worth saying anyway. Now, as I go through this, you'll see what, and I hold to some idea around that little verbiage I just read. You'll see what I mean by how all of this unfolds and how it relates to the questions that I'm asking. Basically, in a nutshell, the question I'm asking is: every human being fears non-existence, and this word death is problematic because people tend to focus on death. That's the ending. I'm talking about between when you're born and when you die, and your actions and how you treat other people and what you do with your life and those kinds of things. So death is the final process. We will physically die, but I'm asking, what does that have? How does that impact the rest of our lives? And are we aware of it? And most of us aren't. And being a creative person, I'm delving into the idea that artists process and, quote, metabolize this concern, this existential concern, a little bit differently, quite a bit differently. So I hope to show, or I'm going to investigate to see, than the non-creative person. I know people will argue everyone's creative and blah, blah, blah. And I agree with that to a certain extent. I'm talking about artists who actually practice and actually make things, or whatever they're doing, actually engage with the creative process, versus people who don't. And this is all based on Becker's analysis of Otto Rank in his book, The Denial of Death, where Rank talks about the creative types and how they deal with the knowledge of their death. So, long story short, I hope to investigate the ideas of artists processing the existential concern about not existing differently than non-creative people, or people who aren't practicing in the that don't have a creative practice. So, having said that, what would that mean? That would mean that I could develop, that's kind of the hypothesis. I could develop a theory and show or present these findings and these ideas in a way that as a creative person coming on this literature, doing a course at a university or a workshop based on this material, a creative person could come in and quote unquote be enlightened about, like, oh, I am creative, and I've wondered what's drawn me to be creative, and kind of unpack all of that, and then employ it and put it in their own lives. And that's what I've tried to do, and I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. But I think it was Carl Jung that said, make the unconscious conscious, and you won't be, led down the road by, quote, fate. You won't let life just happen to you. So those are the ideas behind it. And I just wanted to share a little bit about it. And then the second thing real quick I wanted to share was, Ernest Becker died he was born in 1924 and he died in 1974. He was almost 50 years old. And at the time, he had just finished the book, The Denial of Death. And his wife, Marie Becker, he took the rest of his writings and completed this little book. And this is actually probably my favorite book, Escape from Evil. And she put that together. In fact, I think it says right in the front of this, Escape from Evil. Yeah. Right there, it says copyright 1975 by Marie Becker. So she put that together off of his writings. This is a wonderful little book, just amazing. I've used that a lot. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, I found a gallery in Vancouver, British Columbia, that has her work, and she's still alive. I don't know how old she is. But obviously, being Ernest Becker's wife, and having put together a lot of it, and they were married quite a long time too, even though he's only 49. But she obviously knew him very, very well, knew what his ideas were, and that's always intrigued me. And so I found this gallery in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and they had some of her work, and I got really interested in it, and I thought, wow, I would like to own a piece of Marie Becker's work. That's kind of how I am. So I purchased this little guy right here called White Flowers by Marie Becker. She's got a little stamp down here, I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think you can really see it that well, but she's got her little stamp. She's got her signature on the back and the Petley Jones Gallery. So I purchased that to hang in our house, a little Marie Becker painting, which I thought, kind of fanboyish, but I just thought that was really fun. So I wanted to share those two things. That's what I've been up to the last few months. I don't even know when the last time I made a YouTube video was, but however long it's been, I've been absorbed with all this stuff. I'm supposed to have a guy coming. I'm going to have my dark room built out. I'm not going to do that because I'm too busy, so I'm having that done. I should have some news on that today. I will be back hot and heavy in making some images, wet clothing images. I'm going to continue to paint. I have a lot of creative work to do, and I'm excited to do it, and I'm looking forward to do it. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, follow me along. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to get you to sign up for anything. None of that. I always say that because it's true, and I just none of that stuff. Just if you know me, or you're interested in this stuff, or you're curious about what all this means, come along with me and find out along with me, because that's what I'm going to do too. So thanks for your time. Have a great Saturday. Have a great day. We're living in a crazy, crazy world. We are marinating in mortality salience. We are surrounded constantly by death and thoughts of death and things happening in the world. And unfortunately, I believe it's only going to get worse. And that's a big part of why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to be a therapist or a psychologist or offer any advice. There's nothing prescriptive here. I just want to show how I discovered how I try to keep my sanity and try to keep my love for humanity and the people that I love and care about. And so if you want to tag along and find out what that all means, I would love to have you come along. So I think I'll hop back on here quite, I don't know, regularly, but somewhat regularly, and kind of give updates or share things. And love to hear your comments. If you have any questions or anything, give me a holler. But have a great Saturday. Be safe. Be kind. Be loving. Have gratitude, humility, and be in awe that you woke up this morning in a bed and you had something to eat. That's enough to be happy about. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.